Welcome back to the channel, and a couple of major jobs today. I'm going to be using or breaking into the resin pack that I've bought so that I can fill in some of the imperfections in the wood. That's going to be a new experience. I've never used the stuff before, so I don't really know how much I'm going to be needing, but anyway, that's for a little while. The first thing I've got to do, I'm coming back to the side panels, and you might remember when I glued them up, because that mortise is joined to that mortise there. I needed to stop the glue from that seeping into there. So what I did, I stuffed some paper towel into the hole just to hold the glue back. Well, I've realised I need to get that out before I can glue anything up further. So that's the first thing I'm going to be doing. So we'll see how far we get. As I say, with the resin, I haven't a clue how this is going to play out. We'll come to that in a little while. So, just see how well this paper toweling comes out. I'd forgotten all about it. And it's not coming out without a fight. So that's that one roughly cleaned out. I'll find the correct tenant for that, because that's one of the rear rails, isn't it? So I'll see if that tenant still fits. But anyway, that's that. I've only got another 15 to go, so I'll see you in a little while. Well, that is a great start. Going back some time, when I got to the point of gluing up, I marked all of the corner pieces, which one was which, so I knew which mortise and tenon went where. That's fine. Now, the double tenons were for the rear rail at the top, so that could take the hanging. That's fine. That's all right. But what I've only realised, and only just penny dropped, when I glued up this frame, that wide rail was supposed to be at the bottom, because that's the inset for the top of the cupboard, and so that is the inset for the top of the cupboard. Now, those tenons should go into those mortices, but that's now at the bottom. So And these mortices are much longer than those because they are taking more of the weight. So I can't dismantle this now. There is no way I can dismantle this. So I'm going to have to recut those mortices there to match that. What was it I said several times? This is one of the learning curves. I didn't even notice what I'd done. So anyway, let me carry on getting these paper towels out. Turns out this is the only side panel where I've gone and done this. So I should be alright, because this will be in the middle of the pair of cupboards. So it shouldn't be too noticeable. The only thing I'm thinking of now is that middle rail. That's going to be in the wrong place for the shelf, but I'll come to that when I get there. But anyway, I've managed to get most of the paper towel out of the mortices, but as I mentioned, I'm just going to need to recut or cut these mortices here. So that way I'll know exactly where I'm going. Well, that's the theory anyway. So and then what I thought I'd do is put the morticer into the other holes as well, just to make sure that those are clean. That should get rid of the rest of the towel that's in there. That's my thinking. Hopefully I've got this one right. So no, that's wrong, isn't it? Because if that is the top inside, that's the inside, so not that one. That one's going to have to be in that one, like that, so that those two rebates meet. So not that one, that one. I'm glad you're here to talk me through this one. So that's that one, That's going to have to be in there. So that's that way. So that's the new mortise. Now then, I'm going to have to relabel these. So originally that was A and that's C. So that one's now A. And that one's C. Cross those two out. Okay. Let me get the morticer set up and then I can see how we go on from here. Got it roughly set up. I'm just going to have to take this very steadily, and because this side panel is well above the fence here, I'm just going to have to be very careful in keeping things square so that I don't cause skew on the freight panel, on the glue up. So as I say, I'm going to be trying to get rid of the rest of the paper toweling at the same time. And see how it goes. Let me just finish off and clean out all of these others. There we go. So that's got those clean. Right, so I've tidied up all of the mortices. I've recut those that I need to. Now, the next thing was the resin. Now, as I said, I've never used it before. I haven't a clue how much I will need. So the 4 pieces that I need to look at, the top rear rail of one cupboard, I need to just make sure that that is strong enough, because it's looking a little delicate. But the major piece is this door panel, and I know it's highly figured, but I just want to make sure that the knots that are there are stable. So I'm going to put some on that. And then this door, it's this style on the inside, and this rail on this door. So those are the 4 parts that I want to treat. But as I say, I need to just have a little practice just to see how far things go. So what I've got, some of the stock that I cut and didn't use, that's a little worm-eaten, and I just want to see how that stabilises. A little bit more with worm holes, but I've also got a piece of ordinary pine, and I just want to see how well it goes onto that. Now I've got the resin, 2 parts for that. I've got the mixing cups, the protective gloves, but I realise I haven't got a spreader or a mixing stick, so I've just dug around for a piece of off-cut pine and see how well that works. Right, now they are 300-gram bottles, and according to the instructions I use 100 grams of bottle A and 60 grams of bottle B. That's the proportion. It's 60 and 100, but of course I'm not going to be using 100 grams at a time. So I've got a pair of scales. Let me get set up, and then I'll, by way of experiment, see how much I actually use. Right, so I thought if it's 160 is the proportion, let's just see how far 10 grams goes. So just zero that, and I did think that maybe these were sealed, but no, as soon as I take the top off it's an open bottle. So 10 and 6, see how far that goes. Well, 10, not a lot, but we'll see. 10, that's 10, 6, That's that. Make sure those are nice and tight. Right. So the instructions are to mix for 2 minutes. Now, the nice thing about this, just the two components are clear, transparent. You can get varying colours, but I've just gone for the transparent because I want to have the wood colour just coming straight through. So that's that. Then the instructions. So mix 2 minutes, pour into another cup and mix again for 2 minutes. And I ought to get the stopwatch on this one. Timer, cup, and start mix. There we go, that's 2 minutes. Let it rest for a minute. So while that's doing, I can decide which piece I'm going to try first. And I think what I'll do is use this piece of stock. Because of those worm holes. And this piece as well. So, nearly a minute. There we go, that's got that one. Let's pour, spread, well, that is going quite a long way actually. Now that's interesting, those holes have soaked it up. That's good to know. So I'll leave that. That's gone in quite a way. But 10 grams of component A has gone quite a long way, so that's nice to know. Let me just finish this off with this piece of pine and see how far it goes on here, because it is a sawn surface. Okay, so that's that. Now it's a case of leaving that to cure, and I'll come back to it next week and see what the result is. So, still packing up, but that's as far as I'm going for today. It's frustrating in one way, enlightening in another, and just highlights how far I still have to go in order to sort this project out. But anyway, we are making progress, and so next time I should be able to actually get the resin on the bits that I need to done. Then I can start actually gluing up the rest of the carcasses. So thanks for coming along with me today, and certainly been enjoyable even with these setbacks. And thanks ever so much for your support. I really want to welcome all of the new subscribers to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, this video you'll have noticed is longer than the last one. I don't think it'll be shorter than the last one either. Bye.